What's happening, everyone? Welcome back to the show. This is my Kit Kat banana bread. So I've got 250 grams of plain flour sifted into that big bowl with a teaspoon of bicarb of soda and a pinch of salt. We've got 3 large overripe bananas just there. That's about perfect. Nice and sweet. We've got 2 free-range organic eggs, just whisked up, super simple. And then we've got a mixing bowl there, or whatever you've got, of sugar and butter. And that's just chilled butter from the fridge that I've just kind of cubed up. And then just your chocolate of choice. I had Kit Kat, but whatever you've got is going to work fine. And then just a really good like non-stick kind of caked in there. Whatever you've got, as long as it's kind of non-stick, it should work okay. So what we're going to do now is combine the butter and the sugar together. I generally start it off with a fork and just kind of mush it together until it starts to form together a bit. And then once it's got to about that point, you can get your hands in there and start kind of forming it up almost into like a little like dough ball. Once it's kind of like that, you can actually once you've collected up all that sugar and it's into that one nice ball, just like that, you can get your hands and start forming it up into a little ball and work it a little bit, and then push it down and pop it to one side, and that's about right. What we're going to do now is just mash up the bananas. Just get those on a plate. I find that's easier than a bowl, and just kind of mush them together, mix it up a bit until it kind of looks about like this. And then we'll just put that to one side. So now what we're going to do is combine the whisked eggs, and that's 2 eggs, into that mixture of the butter and the sugar. Just start it with a fork initially. You don't want to start whisking straight away, so just gently bringing it together, and as it starts to form together, you can kind of mix it up and then get a whisk in there and just start really giving that a good mix up. It is going to stay a bit lumpy, but it's absolutely fine. It's just the butter that it will just melt through everything eventually. So once you're at that point, you can just get the banana mixture into the butter and sugar mixture and the eggs, and just get that whisked together, and then that's perfect. So what we can do now is actually get the flour mixture, empty our banana mixture into there, and just start mixing that up really gently. Initially, don't go too crazy or fast with it. You just want to just gently mix that flour in and grab the stuff from the bottom, as you can see I'm doing there, and just get it forming together. Once it's started to kind of form together nicely, you can get a bit more vigorous with the whisking and just keep mixing it up with your hand. It's only going to take about a minute at this point, and until it looks about like this, it goes a bit paler and mixed together, and that's absolutely perfect. So once it gets to that point, I just get like a kind of silicone spoon and just get all the bits off from the edge and down into it. So get your non-stick pan, get some butter, get it nicely, just move around with your hands and get it into all the crevices, just so it's nicely kind of lubricated around that pan. And then pop that to one side, get out your chocolate of choice. So I've used Kit Kat, but dark chocolate Lindt is awesome, especially the orange one. It's so good with this. And then that's it. So what we're going to do now is get about a third of the mixture into the bottom of that pan, and just kind of spread it around and get it reasonably evenly coated. I'm just, as you can see there, I'm just kind of getting it in there and getting obviously bubbles out of it and stuff, and just letting it settle down onto the base. And then what we're going to do is get about a third of the Kit Kat mixture, well, not a mixture, but the chopped Kit Kat, and just sprinkle that through on top of that nice base that we've got there. So yeah, about a third is good. We don't want too much at this point, just nicely sprinkled around. As you can see, just there's bigger and little bits, and you don't have to be super exact with this, but about a third at this point is about right. And once it kind of looks like this, as you'll see in a moment when I tip it up, look at that. Perfect, that's good. And then we'll get about a third more of the mixture from that bowl on top of the Kit Kats, and just kind of get that spreaded around and mixed up, and just cover all the chocolate. And then what we're going to do is put the rest of the chocolate in at this point. You don't have to put too much chocolate in. It's up to you, however much you want in there, really. I mean, I don't think you can ever put too much chocolate in it, to be honest with you. Once we're at that point, whatever mixture you've got left in the bowl, pop that on top. And then what we want to make sure here is, once you've spread it all out, if there's any bits of Kit Kat or chocolates sticking up through the mixture, you just want to kind of poke it down. As you can see here, I'm just kind of poking it all in so there's no chocolate showing, because it will burn in the oven if there's any chocolate out of the mixture. And then what I'm doing here is I'm just pushing down any mixture that might have come up the edge of the pan, and then just giving it a little tap and a little jiggle around so it settles down. So then what we're going to do is make a nice little cinnamon sugary mixture for the top. That's just a mix of sugars, whatever you've got. A brown sugar's good, or panela sugar like I've got there. And then about a teaspoon of cinnamon, Mix it up, sprinkle it on top so it's nicely evenly coated. You want a good even coating at this point. And that's it. Pop it in the oven, 180 degrees centigrade in a fan oven for about 45 to 50 minutes. What you can do, I'm just putting the knife around the edge there just to loosen it, but to test it's done, just put your knife down through the middle of it, and if it comes out clean, it's done. Give it 10 minutes to rest in the pan once it's out the oven, just to cool down a touch, and turn it out into a cooling rack. Give it another 10 minutes, and then it's perfect to carve. So there you go. As you can see there, super awesome, nice and squishy, nice and moist. It's got the chocolate all the way through it. It's super tasty at this point. If you keep it in the fridge and you want to pre-slice or whatever, if you warm the slices back up in the oven, it just brings that moisture back into it, and it's super awesome. So there you go, super soft and gooey inside, nice crunchy top, and a cinnamon sugary top, and there you go, super awesome, simple banana bread recipe. Everyone can do it. Give it a go. Let me know how you get on. More videos here. Like, comment, subscribe, and we'll be back soon. Cheers.